All right, so if you missed the day that we worked on making our DNA origami, so our little paper chain links that will end up looking like this, here's some instruction on how you're going to start by coloring this page. That's your first step, is to get it colored, and just the coloring itself is kind of tricky. So first thing I want you to do is have the paper oriented in this direction. So some of the letters are upside down. That's okay, it'll make more sense once it's folded, but see how these diagonal lines make a V shape? I want you to make sure your paper is oriented that way and not this way, just so that we're all on the same page here. So I recommend starting with one color that you're going to color all of a certain letter. Since this is DNA, we've got C's, G's, A's, and T's. So we've got 4 colors altogether that we're going to color things. And I'm going to have you start with the C's. So if you look right here, here's a C, and it's connected to a G, just like it should be. All the T's are connected to A's. So here's our first C, and we want to color this one. Now the way we're going to color it is I like to start by coloring alongside of the letter. I know it's upside down, but it's a C. And then, stops focusing. And then the tricky thing is that we need to pay attention to some lines and ignore other lines. So we need to pay attention to the diagonal lines and the dotted lines, but we're going to ignore these straight across lines. So from this C, I'm going to color along the diagonal to the dotted, and then along this diagonal to the dotted. Both diagonal lines that are attached to the C, we're going to color along them up to the dotted line, and this will be the shape that you end up with. So here is your C. Outside of lines, it's all right. There we go. There's our C there. There's a couple different C's around the page. There's one right here. So everything will be mirrored. So we've got C's, G, T's, A's, C's, G's. Okay, everything's going to be kind of mirrored in this way. So I'm going to go through and color these, and then I'll show you what it will look like once you've gotten all of your C's on the whole entire page colored. One thing before I do that is to pay attention to this one right here. It does get cut off. So this is a C here. It does make a funny shape just because it would have extended up this direction, but we had to end the paper somewhere. So it ends right here. So anyway, I'll color all the C's, and then I'll show you what that should look like. All right, here's what your page should look like when you have all of your C's colored. By the way, I should mention I chose orange for the C's. You can choose any 4 colors you want. It doesn't matter. I am going to do my G's next. I do recommend that you do the G's. So we go C's and then G's after that. I'm going to do my G's in this blue color. So again, I'll pause and I'll show you what it'll look like when all the G's are colored. All right, so this is all of the C's and G's colored. I recommend that you do the T's next. So I'm going to do my T's in green. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. All right, here's all the T's colored in green, and my last one is going to be A's. I'm going to do these in yellow. One thing I want to point out, I guess it happened up here too. This C, if you remember, C's are always attached to G's. So this little triangle right up here wasn't labeled with a letter, but because we know that a C goes here, we know that it has to connect to a G. So that's why I colored that one my G color. Now down here, we've got T's here, and again, it was cut off, so it's that funny shape. But then a T is always connected to an A. So whatever color you're making your A's, for me it's yellow, make sure that's the color that you make those little triangles down here. Okay, so I'll come back when I've got all the A's colored. Okay, here's the sheet all colored the way it should be. The next steps are going to be to cut off the white border around the edge and then fold it up into our DNA shape. So watch the next video to see how to do those things.